We're about to lose the Facebook stuff.
We're losing the Facebook stuff, and we're live. We didn't do a countdown this time.
Oh, we are live. Sorry,
Hi, everybody.
I was gonna push it, but it's one of those days.
It's been a day, guys. It's been a day. You might have noticed there was no top 5 panels. It's been a day.
It's all around.
Exactly. But we're here, and we took a break last week. I think that's our last break for a while. Yeah. So that's good news. And we are going to get into all the news because we actually had a lot from last week going into this week. And the big topic, which is Marvel killing off their A-list characters. There's a lot to talk about there. We also have a Kickstarter book from our Kickstarter that we're going to discuss mid-show as well. So let's get into the first news piece. So we're going to do the media news. I actually don't even have our sheets up. So let's see what the first news piece is over here. And that is the Shang-Chi trailer. Did anyone get to see that?
No, I forgot to watch it.
Oh,
you know me in trailers.
Yeah, that's true. I like the first trailer. I do not love second trailers at all. I don't want to see another trailer. I just want to see the movie. It's been so delayed. Black Widow. Like I'm just thinking about that movie right now, and then we'll get the Shang-Chi and all the other ones. Yeah. So we also have The Walking Dead's Laurie Holden, who played Andrea, right, in Walking Dead. And she's going to be in The Boys season 3. It's kind of interesting to see these geek culture characters getting into The Boys, because we had Jensen Ackles, now we have her. What do you think, Brant?
Yeah, I've recently, because I ran out of other stuff to watch, I've recently started back on season 2 of The Boys, so I'm watching that right now. And so I mean, Jensen was going to keep me for season 3, and now you add Lori, which she was great on Walking Dead, devious. And so I'm curious to see her portrayal of a character on that show too. It's going to be different, but it's going to be cool. They got all these names that we know, like you said, from geek culture. So.
You know what I watched yesterday? I watched the new slasher movie on Netflix, Fear Street. Loved it.
Did you?
So good. So good. And it's a 3-part movie franchise. So you get to see that part, and then you get a second part next week and a third part the week after to finish it all up. It's cool. Really cool. Yeah, I really like that first one.
Nice.
So I recommend that. I watched the first episode of Loki. That's kind of crazy. We'll see if I can finish it.
Bits and pieces.
You seen bits and pieces? Yeah, I got to see it on vacation, so so I actually got to watch some things. I watched some movies and stuff. But yeah, Loki episode 1 was pretty cool.
That's mine and Lisa's current weekly show that we're watching together. So we're all caught up on Loki.
I gotta catch up. My dad's begging. He's we were watching another movie. He's why can't we just watch Loki episode 2? My brother's because I don't want to watch another Marvel movie or Marvel TV show. So we watched Luca, the Pixar movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's get into the next thing, which I'm gonna go into the comic book news. So Impossible Jones joins Scout Comics. We actually reviewed Impossible Jones here.
Yeah. Carl was a backer on our Kickstarter, and we reviewed his graphic novel, and he actually featured a version of our logo in the book as I forget, was it a club?
It was one of the storefronts in it. Yeah,
it was a cosplay club or something like that. It was cool. He loved our logo so much he asked to use it, so that's really cool. That panel's going to be in the book, so technically our logo's in Scout Comics now, so that's kind of cool.
So get the book just for that.
Yeah, but congrats to Carl and the team. That's awesome.
So we'll definitely have to support that one. Hopefully you guys do too. So we got so many big stuff. I'm trying to get some of the smaller stuff out of the way. So the next thing is that Donny Cates is making. Not Donny Cates. Yeah, we could do that one. Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman is announcing a new title for their own imprint. It's called Vanish, and the imprint is called KLC Press Imprint. I don't know if it's been announced where this is being published and what they're doing with this book, but it's so interesting to see creators who are in the mainstream, doing the Marvel DC stuff, also kind of doing this sidestep and being like, no, I want to make my own stuff. And there's just been this really interesting independent wave, in a different way than Image Comics, because that was like one publisher coming together. This is like, no, Donny Cates can make his own imprint and make his own books under his own name. I think it's so cool because of like the Kickstarter landscape, and even like the webtoon landscape, and even like the buy as you will landscape is allowing creators to have no hold bar and make the books they've always wanted to make and not have to worry about the direct market or pitching. And I think that's so beautiful, and I will definitely support this.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and I think in a way the pandemic kind of fostered this a little bit with comics, and Diamond and everything shutting down for a while. It just kind of strengthened the resurgence of indie comics, because I think we were already there and we were already strong and it was already headed that way. But now you're seeing people like Donny Cates and
going independent.
And all the bigger books, and turning to Kickstarter and turning to the independent scene and doing their own thing. And I think this is really cool, and I can't wait to see what all they do. And I did want to say that KLC stands for Kids Love Chains. That's going to be a really interesting name. But yeah, so I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for what it means for the future of indie comics.
Definitely.
So the next thing is that The Walking Dead's Clementine is getting an OGN, tapping into the middle grade market. Speaking of another thing that I think comics is been doing and has learned, the only way that comics will grow if kids have an opportunity to find their new favorite comic. And it doesn't have to always be Spider-Man or Batman. It can be something like The Walking Dead. And I think that's so important as well. So I thought that was super interesting.
I think it's great because, Clementine was a humongous star for Walking Dead video game, especially Telltale. A lot of people love the Telltale. So I think it's great that she's getting her own little OGN.
So another question, we got a couple questions here. Well, is it a new company? An imprint doesn't mean a new company. It could also mean he is pitching other places, like Scott Snyder's Nocterra started on Kickstarter, but ended up being an Image book and always was an Image book. So it just means
I think
that
it'll end up in Image. I think KLC will be in Image at some point.
Donny Cates has been working at different companies too. He's done Aftershock, but he has done a lot of Image. So it could be Image for sure. Or it could be, again, just a Kickstarter book. Or it's probably going to end up at a company, because that way it does go to the direct market. Tevye also had that question, is the direct market dead? No, because comic book stores are not dead, and it's just a different market. I think that's what a lot of people... I don't want to say don't understand. It's just in my perspective. I feel like that's always coming to the question of like, oh, is Diamond dead? Is direct market dead? It's like, it's just two different audiences. I think there's an opportunity to tap into both, and it's important to tap into both.
Yeah, I agree. For one, the direct market, does get you into the hands of people that don't necessarily follow like Kickstarter and stuff like that. There's some crossover, obviously, but there's, like you said, there's two different markets, and it just expands the reach, and it helps the retailers out as well, which is something that we want to do. But I think because of the way that the market has shifted, retailers have had to look outside of Diamond and the old avenues of getting books in their stores and stuff. And while that's still the main source, I think a lot of retailers are more open to indie comics now because of the way the landscape has changed.
And look at, we just were talking about Impossible Jones, which is a Kickstarter book. It has been a Kickstarter book, but then it goes to a company that is in the direct market who picks up a lot of Kickstarter books, like Scout. So there's an opportunity for sure to meld them both and do both and explain. And then same thing for like AWA. They are in the direct market, but then they post their stuff on Webtoons. So you can go to different markets. That doesn't mean you're not buying books at the comic book store.
Yeah, something Tyler James says a lot, for anybody that knows Tyler. He says, why is it either or? Why not both? So that's kind of my philosophy too. It's like both or all. Any avenue I can reach, Yeah,
I 100% agree. Any thoughts on the Walking Dead thing, Chris? I know we totally went off topic, but
I love Clementine, the character. So I'm really happy that they're doing an OGN for her character for sure, especially because we're not getting any new Walking Dead anymore.
Yeah, very true. They're still trying to live up to that that name of The Walking Dead. All right, let's move on to the next thing, which is we're getting to the big stuff now. So we'll talk about the big things. Next is Batgirl's new suit. So I'm actually going to screen share this for the people that haven't seen the new suit. But it was actually trending on Twitter, and people were like upset about the suit for some reason. I think because it's very Burnside.
I like it.
I like it too. I think it adds all the elements that were good about Burnside and ups the ante a bit. I love it. I think it's a great suit. And people were more upset. It wasn't even the suit. People were more upset that she's not Oracle and she's not paralyzed. And
I know someone in the comments. Here it comes. Wait for it any second.
Yeah. And she's still Oracle. She's just what's the great about this version of Batgirl is that she's allowed to be both. She could be Oracle in an arc, and then she could be Batgirl for an arc.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I love that. And it goes back to that again. Why either or? Why not both? That's Batgirl. That's Barbara. There's more facets to Barbara than just Oracle or just Batgirl. Like you said, she can be both, and she can do both brilliantly. And when she needs to be Oracle, she's Oracle. When she needs to leap into action, she can be Batgirl and take it to the streets. And I love that writers have not just like disregarded that like it's been retconned. They have addressed that. The issue with her spine, and there are times where that thing shorts out and she's not able to walk again. I think that shows growth in the character, and it shows appreciation for the continuity of the character, and it's not just throwing that away. So I don't get the hate on that. So
I 100% agree. I don't get it either. It's like people aren't even happy when they're getting everything they want. Right?
Yeah.
They're going to the candy store.
I agree. It's the best of both worlds. We should have both.
Yeah, it's like you go to the candy store, you got a lollipop, you got your nerds, you got your Twizzlers, but you're like, I just didn't get that chocolate bar. Now I'm so upset. And,
I mean, I get I understand, I guess, because they don't want to downplay the physically challenged aspect of
100%, but they haven't forgotten it. Like you said, and the thing is, the New 52 did that. That's not, they just have to continue with the continuity they were given.
Yeah, and it's like her desire as a character, as a person, is to help people in any way that she can. So if she's able to, walk again and do what she feels like is her calling to do, then she's going to do that, and she should be faulted for that, and the writers handling her should be faulted for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw a comment on Twitter where someone said, well, the fault is that Alan Moore did that to her for, Woman in Refrigerators moment. So if we're going to fault anything, it should be that moment, not for the things where they actually try to showcase good stories about disability, and how Gail Simone was able to still showcase that disability, even though she did get they changed the story with making her Batgirl and being able to walk. They still didn't forget her PTSD and again that she is still paralyzed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's we also have a new costume, another new costume. We're gonna say.
Well, I never commented on the actual costumes.
Go for it.
Yeah, the Burnside costume never bothered me. It was just the Burnside stories that I wasn't crazy about. So yeah, I'm fine with the costume. That's all I wanted to say.
I 100% agree. I think one of the best parts of that was actually the costume. Like, oh, that looks fun. And then the stories weren't as good as I think they could have been. Like, I think there was a promise to sell to a younger audience and like get a new audience for Batgirl. Maybe it did, but as a Batgirl fan, I think there was other versions that did it better. There was I think the volume right after Burnside, they were able to marry both Burnside and Gail Simone's Batgirl, and I really liked that volume, where it was the best of both worlds as well.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny to hear criticism about that costume too, because you also hear the criticism like how she was drawn in Heroes in Crisis with the skin tight, everything showing costume. So it's like, what do you want? It's got to be either or in that case, So
yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Let's go into the other costume, which is Miles Morales. So let's screen share that.
This
is his new costume.
This
Oh
one I
man,
like.
okay, so I did a whole video about this on my channel. It's not that I hate the costume. I just think they just don't know what to do with Miles. They're like, all right, we gave him the Clone Saga because that's a big name. Didn't really do anything with it. They're like, oh, what do we do next? I guess we'll give him a new costume.
New
Why? Who
sneakers!
knows why? New sneakers. Again, costume looks fine, even though it's a Ben Reilly Kane mixture. I'm fine with that. But give us a story for Miles Morales. I don't want a new costume. I just want a good story.
Yeah,
I like
that's
the sneakers.
Visually, I like the costume, and I like the nods to Scarlet Spider with it, but it's like, okay, it's Miles. We have to do this kind of costume for him. It's just like, I don't know. It just felt a little forced. I hope it makes sense in the story. It's a cool design. I'm not knocking the design at all. It's just I question the reasoning behind it is all. But yeah, I agree with you that they just don't know what to do with them, unfortunately.
And I'm so sad because I love Miles. And I want to love a story from him. Yeah. And I tried the Clone Saga, and I did not like it.
Yeah, same, actually.
Chris, did you have more thoughts on that?
Nah, I think the costume's innovative for Miles. I think it's something new. And I'm interested. It's not going to stay. You all got to know it's not going to stay. It's going to go right back to the original costume at some point again.
We'll see.
It's Marvel. Everything goes back to the way it was.
That is true, but I mean, if that's the case, then wouldn't his costume go back to like Spidey's costume? If we were going all the way back to the original, or was he always in black and red? I don't remember. Like
I don't remember. No, I think
I don't remember either.
Something else before the black and red, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't remember. I think
really
he had
don't
like
remember.
for a hot second. Maybe it was just like sweats. Maybe it was this. Maybe it's a callback.
Maybe,
I don't
maybe
remember what
is.
it was.
Somebody in the comments remind us if you know.
Yes, please do. So hopefully we get something good from that. So moving on to some of the big news that we didn't get to talk about last week, but we're talking about this week, and it kind of ties into our big topic. But we'll kind of get there after we talk about the Scarlet Witch news. But the big thing is that Ben Reilly looks like he's taking over Spider-Man Beyond. Looks like there's teasers that Peter Parker is dying. It does look like Mary Jane's wearing the wedding ring. And then we also have an artist lineup. So they actually got some big hitters here. They got Sarah Pacelli. They got the Black Cat artist is working on it. So, yeah, they actually got some good artists here. And I think, Patrick Gleason's also doing art and writing as well. So that's pretty cool. This is pretty big. I do think it's just an arc. I don't think it's going to last long because even Kelly Thompson's newsletter, she wrote, I hope you guys heard I'm on the new arc of Spider-Man. It wasn't I'm on the new series. I really do think it's just like an event. Yeah,
I think so too. And I would be so mad if they got married and he died. It's like, are you kidding me? Dangle that carrot in front of us. That would be very, very aggravating. But yeah, I think it's going to be for an arc too. I love the artist lineup. I mean, Sarah Pacelli, I love her art on Spider-Man too. But yeah, it's Ben Reilly taking the lead. I just hope it's a version of Ben Reilly I can get behind because they've tried. That's another character they don't really know what to do with him. And
I mean, they brought him back to life. Everybody was happy. Then they did something weird with him, and now he's still alive. But it's like we don't know. So I agree with you 100%.
He's like a backup character in Iron Man right now.
Exactly. He's like, I'm here. Hi, I'm like the fourth because there's Kane, there's Peter, there's Miles, and then Ben's somewhere out there in the world just, chilling out,
Yeah. So I just hope they do justice to Ben because I really do like Ben Reilly as a character. And I loved, back in, after the Clone Saga when he took over for a while. It makes me nervous, but I know it's not going to last.
So the next thing is the big topic, which is Scarlet Witch. I mean, spoiler alert. Let's actually put our spoiler alert here because actually it is a spoiler for X Factor. But Marvel announced it.
Got it, Chris?
Got it.
There we go.
My spoiler. There it is. Look at that.
Yeah, Marvel spoiled it. But go ahead.
Marvel spoiled it.
Marvel
It was
spoiled it.
Scarlet Witch is dead, and that's why we want to talk about the topic being that Marvel's killing off all these A-list heroes, because all in the past month we had the announcement of Spider-Man maybe dying, Doctor Strange dying, and now Scarlet Witch dying. What? Why?
Yeah, it's like all the MCU big names that we got movies coming out for, we're killing them all. Why not?
All
TV
them.
shows. Yeah, it's like, what is going on here? And it's interesting. I did read X Factor this week. It was one of the few books that I did read. That was the last
read the
book
end of that. Only read the end of that book because I got to read the Scarlet Witch part.
Yeah, that was the last book I read before we came on, actually, and so it's really fresh. And it was it was just that ending part that was about her. Nothing else in the book was about Scarlet Witch at all. So yeah, it was just except for we saw Tommy come back and find her, which was interesting. Haven't seen him for a while that I recall. So yeah,
just a Pride book, I think.
I haven't read that yet. It's right there beside me. I haven't read it yet. But I still got to catch up on last week's books. Was he?
Maybe he wasn't. Yeah, I think he was. He's dating one of them.
Yeah,
he's dating Prodigy.
Prodigy.
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, he's in it.
Yeah, so he showed up there with Prodigy at the gala. So yeah, it's interesting because we don't have much to go on except for there was like a little page at the end where they're looking for Magneto because obviously there's history there with Scarlet Witch and Magneto. And, why is Scarlet Witch even at the gala? I know humans are allowed, they're inviting everybody, but, I don't know. I don't know where they're headed with this. Obviously, the trial of Magneto, and he's being accused of it, so we'll see what happens with that. So it's just weird.
Yeah, I just don't really get the motive of all of this. Like, how is that selling comics? I get it. Maybe one character, you're like, oh, well, like Doctor Strange, I was kind of interested because I'm like, oh, Doctor Strange is, I guess, more of a B-list character than an A-list character, but maybe with the movies, he's like A- character. I was like, oh, that's cool because someone else could become Sorcerer Supreme, and that's a mystery. And then this one, you're making Magneto's the killer of Scarlet Witch, and it's just like, but okay, then who's taking over the Sorcerer Supreme? She would have been interesting to tell that story with.
We actually speculated that. It's like, oh, it could be Scarlet Witch. Nope.
No, we're killing her too.
Well, I mean, are they killing all the magic people? Is that what's going on? Is that going to... I don't know what's going on.
And then Spider-Man's there too.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe Marvel's like, okay, the number ones aren't doing it anymore. Now we got to do big kills. Maybe that'll bring people in.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like there's I'm sorry to bring wrestling into this, but there's a thing in WWE where if a wrestler is in his hometown, he usually loses. It's like, why?
Really?
Yeah, really. That's the thing. They usually lose, so it's like, why do you? Well, what's the point in that? Where's the story in that? And that seems like the same philosophy here. It's like, okay, like I said earlier, all these big stars in these movies and these TV shows, they're blowing up. Let's kill them all. What?
And especially Scarlet Witch, where I was actually predicting, and I think we've talked about this on the show, where it was like, oh, she's going to get her own comic. Like, they're going to do more with her. Like, we'll actually get to maybe see, like, what we saw in WandaVision. Maybe we could actually, see a family book with her. And nope, that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's like what we complain with DC. It's like they have a hit show. Let's take the book away. No books for these characters now. It's like, I just don't...
Let no one get into comics. Like, if they walk into the comic book store, they find out, oh, Scarlet Witch is dead. Sorry, you can't pick up that anymore. Because people want to read new stuff, too.
Yeah.
How you get people into comics.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Unless the motivation is, oh, hey, here's this character that blew up on this TV show. Oh, guess what? She just died. Come read why. How'd she come back? Maybe that's...
I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't even...
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Hey, Marvel, there are 3 writers here. DC, there are 3 writers here. I think it's time to purge and start fresh with some talent.
I mean, they got some good talent.
No, they got good talent, but I mean, I think it's time to get the executives that are making these decisions and kind of scoot them over and be like, I think it's time.
But I think DC's kind of already done that, and I know we're talking about Marvel right now, but DC has been doing that for the past year. Like, all those writers are especially like Scott Snyder. He's taking a little bit of a hiatus. A lot of the bigger writers are not there doing the big books. It is someone like James Tynion wasn't an A-list writer until he took over Batman. Like I think in some ways DC's doing the right thing there, but they have so little books. And then with Marvel, they also have new creators. So it's so hard to say. I do think it's the executive decisions, but I don't know.
Brant and Cat. I literally merged their names. Let Brant and Cat run DC and Marvel.
We're
everybody out of there, and I'll make sure everyone would buy the damn books again. Every single book. Watch, 100%.
Hey, that pipe dream would definitely be nice.
It would work.
We definitely take it.
They would take
the offers out there. We'll take it, but
they will. I swear, you'll see DC and Marvel right back at the top.
No. I mean, I'm not going to be that arrogant, but I just don't understand. And maybe they'll prove us wrong, and maybe they'll tell a no pun intended killer story. I don't want to say that. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because I want to love these characters and I want to love these books and I want to see what happens. But at least it's got us talking, which is probably the point. So.
Mm-hmm. And Kelly Thompson writing Spider-Man. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited for that.
I'll read anything Kelly Thompson writes. Yeah,
exactly. If anything, we got that going on. But yeah, that was the big news piece. So we are going to go into our Kickstarter book that we're going to talk about. So tell us a little bit about that, Brant.
Yeah, let me just pull. I don't have the full title in front of me. I think it's
a long title, but it's also a web comic, correct? So can people read that for free?
They should be able to. Let me actually look it up real quick if you guys don't mind. In the meantime, I will do our Kickstarter shout out. So one of our backers that we're going to shout out this week is Jeffrey Frizone. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. So thank you, Jeffrey, for supporting the Kickstarter, and there is your shout out. So yeah, this book is called I don't know if it's actually pronounced Seven or Z, so I apologize. This is by Kristen Kamal Evans, and it's a Seven of Magic and Muses trilogy. And we were fortunate enough to get access to the first two volumes and a preview of the third, which was really cool. Is a lot of content. Yeah, the webcomic is available at, actually, I'll just post a link because it's long as well, but it's 7comic.com/magic and muses.
Yeah, so this is something you can read for free, guys. So that's always a positive. Yeah. And this is something that obviously the creator is giving for free, and you know that's always nice. There's always opportunities to read comics, even if you can't afford comics. So this could definitely be a good one. And this one kind of has it all. It's about a girl, this kind of average girl who goes to this average boarding school. At least at first, and it's actually what was interesting from the color standpoint. When it begins, it's kind of brown. It's kind of like dull, Mm-hmm. And then she finds this necklace and finds out there's more secrets to the school, and it kind of has like a Morning Glories vibe in that regard because it has to do with the school, but then it has a Buffy vibe, it kind of has a Harry Potter vibe. So I feel like it kind of meshes a lot of genres in one. Yeah,
it's interesting. It's a boarding school, like you said, but it's interesting because like they have to gain chits to be able to get any kind of privileges whatsoever, and it deals with bullying, and it deals with a lot of emotional issues with all the characters involved so far that we've seen, and some interesting things happen with the two best friends you see and the bully. How their paths kind of intertwine and cross over as the story progresses. And the magic thing is really interesting because this girl at the very beginning, she's having these dreams of this like fantasy world or whatever. And it basically comes into existence, and that you got to see how that happens. I don't want to spoil it too much, but this necklace thing, gives powers and all this stuff. So it's really interesting the way that they're, Kristen is structuring the story, and there's a lot of content up there, and it looks like the last update was today, so it's still going.
There you
strong.
go.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I especially love the artwork for the book. That really spoke to me the first couple of pages in.
It's very like if you guys like stuff from Boombox, it feels like that kind of vibe, artistically.
I agree with you. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of comic strippy in a way, which makes sense for a webtoon. But yeah, like you said, it's Boombox, because like Boombox does a really good job at like meshing something you might see on like webtoon and putting it in the direct market.
Yeah, and so we definitely want to thank Kristen for sharing that with us and for supporting the Kickstarter as well. And keep producing great content.
Do appreciate it. Now, this week was the worst week to return because this was a fifth Wednesday, which means there wasn't a lot of comic books this week. So what we're going to end up doing is that we're going to just talk about the big books this week instead of doing a top 5. And then we'll do a Q&A, like 15, 20 minute, depending on when we end. But we're 30 minutes in, so we probably will end early. So maybe, we'll do like a little Q&A at the end of the show so we could not end in 45 minutes,
Right. Sounds good to me. So no under the radar or anything like that this week, but right? Unless you have the cat. I know you listed one, but
no, we could talk about it at big books. It's fine. Or if I don't think anyone read that, well, I'll talk about it now. So I took it off big books, but one of the bigger books this week was Green Arrow 80th anniversary. It wasn't my favorite anniversary issue, but if you're a Green Arrow fan, I think it celebrates each era very well. You get a Roy Harper story. Mia Dearden even shows up, which I love Mia. I hope we get to see more of her. She kind of shows up. It's not actually her, but I was like, oh, okay, I wish we actually got a Mia story. But then you get to like see a Jeff Lemire version, you get Ben Percy. So it was cool to see all the different stories. I love the Tom Taylor, Nicola Scott. It was the origins of the boxing glove Arrow, so that was cool. But like I said, I don't think any story besides that one really stood out, so I don't think it was the best out of all the anthologies DC has done. But if you're a Green Arrow fan like I am, I think it's worth the read.
Cool. Yeah, I am. I'm not a huge Green Arrow fan, except for I the TV show. So that's why I kind of skipped that one. But I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you. So I guess you'll do big books, Brant?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So let's see. I actually did not read that, so we'll skip that one. Unless did either one of you read the Teen Titans Academy? I did not get to that one because I still haven't read last week's Teen Titans Academy yet. All right, so we'll talk about United States of Captain America, which is another book I did not read. Kat, I think you're the only one that read this one as well. I was kind of on the fence about this one. So
I only read it because I was getting so few books. So I was like, oh, since we're doing this show, maybe I should read something that's like a bigger book. So I didn't really have any anticipation going into it. So it was fine. I think if you like Captain America, I guess you'll like this book. But it was just him having this big monologue about America, and visually it was not interesting. It was literally him like in his house just talking about America for like 15 pages.
So 4th of July, so we get a Captain America book. That's the base.
I wish he was barbecuing. At least that would have been something interesting to look at.
Yeah, barbecuing, fireworks, a little bit. Yeah. And
then we get the new character, the queer Captain America, and I think they're introducing like a new Captain America every issue, which is cool. Yeah. I don't know where that's going and what that has to do with Captain America, the main series, but I think if you're a Captain America fan, maybe you would appreciate this more. It was cool to see a queer character as Captain America, but it didn't quite do much for me. The artwork was good. Also, I just didn't really like a lot of my books this week because there's just so few, and it's just such a filler week.
Yeah, it's like a 5th week, right? It's annuals and specials and that kind of thing. Yeah,
it's a 5th week, but it was like a week, 5th week. Because usually with a 5th week, you'll get a couple of indies in there.
Yeah,
I think we only got like one indie that I read this week.
Yeah, which is actually the next book we're going to talk about. I think Crossover issue number 7, which was really interesting.
I love this book.
Yeah, this was crazy. And I'll put it out there. I did not know Chip Zdarsky was a pen name, by the way.
Me either.
Yeah, so I looked it up afterwards. It totally is. And I had no idea. This was really interesting. Like, this was meta, right? It was like deep. It was weird. Basically, yeah, go ahead.
Wasn't that cool? No, I was just going to say, wasn't that meta-ness is like, oh, what is this comic in like the best way possible.
Yeah, so Chip Zdarsky is a character in the book, but he's under he's under his real name, but a fake name of his real name because he's hiding from somebody killing off comic creators. Because this whole book is about comic characters coming to life, and kind of breaking out into the world. And now somebody's hunting down comic creators, and certain ones are missing, and this kind of thing. So he's on the run, and he doesn't know who's trying to kill him, and then he thinks it's himself because he created himself in an issue of a comic that he created. So Chip Zdarsky is trying to kill Chip Zdarsky, but he's not. So
it's so meta.
Kind of makes me think of Stephen King trying to kill himself off in oh god, and it was a comic book too. Why can't I remember? The gunslinger, the Dark Tower. Dark Tower.
Yeah, so it was like that, and so the whole story, this issue was about him running from himself, and this whole conversation with himself about loving himself and appreciating himself and that kind of thing. And it was, and the reason that he created the Chip Zdarsky, persona in the first place, to be more open and kind of be a jerk. It's just kind of weird. So go ahead, Kat.
No, everything that you were saying. Sorry, SM down, no panels this week. This was a absolutely crazy week, so sorry about that. But we'll be back next week for the panels. So for the crossover, what I enjoyed is that it took kind of a Big Two approach, where Big Two is about handing the baton to the next creator and like talking about that character in a new lens, and you don't see that with indie comics because it's creator owned. It's usually the same artist and the same writer doing this story. And it was really cool that they're like, no, this is like for everybody. It's a crossover. It's like the best things about comics is collaboration. Here, Chip, write an issue of crossover. Write about yourself. Write about this existential crisis of being a writer in comics, and especially in the social media age of feeling like you're an imposter, feeling like you're not real, feeling like you're not doing good enough. And then like the relationship between creator and art. Like, what is that? What does that feel like? Especially when you're in the art, you're in the book. So it just blew my mind, this issue. It's definitely my favorite crossover issue. Yeah. It was my pick of the week as well, by far. I figured,
See, I knew you would address all that aspect of it more eloquently than I could. So I wanted to make sure you got in there. But yeah, it's so interesting how limitless this book can be, especially with all the creators, that can be potentially involved and have been referenced, and the characters that have been referenced in this. And, there was a lull in it at the beginning that we were a little nervous about, I think. And then you get an issue like this that just kind of blows you away, and it shows the potential a series like this could have going forward, and it makes me excited to see where it's going next. So
for sure.
All right, so the next book we're going to talk about is another book I did not actually get to read, Cable. Sorry, I forgot to go back and edit the stuff that I didn't get to read, but yeah.
I'll go quickly on this one because not much happens. It's just, old Cable coming back, kind of interacting with the people he loves, like Hope, and then like digging deeper into the main plot, which I'm not too interested in. And this is the penultimate issue. We're getting to the last issue. It's kind of same old for this book. It's much more character driven than plot driven, and I don't know if the character beats holds up enough to warrant a series.
Gotcha. And we already talked about X Factor a little bit. I'll just say the rest of the book was it was mostly about Prodigy and him discovering how he died finally, which was kind of a through line throughout the whole series since he came back, and he finds that out and confronts his killer and that kind of thing. So that's what that issue was about, aside from the Scarlet Witch stuff. Which, it was okay. It was an okay read. But if you're not reading X Factor, you'd be completely lost.
Yeah, I was skimming through that. I'm like, no thanks. I will just read that last panel.
Yeah. And before I get to this other one, were there any books that you read, Chris, that we haven't talked about?
We're going to, I think. It's on the list.
Okay, so Daredevil.
Yeah, no. Amazing
No.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Oh, did I skip that one? I must have
No,
skipped
it's
that.
the last one, I think.
That's the last one to talk about. I literally only read that.
No, it's
Oh,
not
no,
there.
you did
so-
skip it. You did
Yeah,
skip
I did.
it. It
I
was the
skipped
first
it at
book.
the very beginning. Sorry. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's quickly go through Daredevil, which I didn't love this issue as much.
Me either. It was probably one of the weaker issues. The artwork was not good for this issue.
Yeah, and it felt like it was all over the place because they were trying to tell us Daredevil's story, and he was really angry. Elektra's story, and she was really angry. And then Bullseye's story, and he was just crazy. So it's like, what happened with this issue? It just, I don't know. This has been such a good book, and obviously not every issue is going to be, knock it out of the park. And I'm not saying it was a bad story at all. It was just, it was so little of each one of those subplots, I guess, that it just didn't give me enough overall throughout the issue. So,
yeah, I don't think there was a plot. Yeah, there wasn't really a plot to this one. And again, I don't think the artwork was as strong as previous issues. Like, there's times where like faces weren't drawn like in close-ups. I was like, all right. I wasn't a huge fan of this one. Also, one that's not on the list, but I thought we'd talk, and I was like a little disappointed of this week was Black Widow. I also didn't think this one moved that much.
Yeah, I liked it for what it was, but I agree with you. It didn't move much. But for a first part of a new arc, I kind of hoped for more. I liked the dialogue between Yelena and Natasha. I think that was really good, and I liked Anya in it. And I think she's a great addition to the book. But I agree, not a whole lot happened in the issue. Still love the book though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, one slower issue doesn't mean that it's a bad title by any means.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though not a lot happened, it was still one of the bright spots this week for me, just because I love that book so much. So.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. So I guess the last book we have to talk about then is Giant Size Amazing Spider-Man, the Chameleon Conspiracy, the conclusion to this arc, where we sort of maybe possibly get Teresa Parker's origin, maybe possibly.
No,
really?
Definitely. It's so dumb. I don't understand why. It's like, really? We're going the Camille. Okay, fine.
But we don't get the answer. It's like,
no, it's just like,
maybe
it is. I don't want to know.
It's very vague.
Why did we have this Chameleon Conspiracy? I did not like this issue. I didn't like one subplot.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's like, if there was finality to it, if there was something definitive about Teresa that we got out of this, I would have been okay with it. But because it was left up in the air, vague, it made this entire, to quote Tevye, made this entire arc pointless. Because nothing happened. It's like, okay, Ned Leeds is back. That's fine. We got that out of this arc. That was something. But
he's not going to come back after this. They just, I don't even know what do we care? Ned Leeds is back.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's like this whole arc was about the clairvoyant, and they just destroy it at the end. It's like, okay, we're done with this.
It was dumb. She destroyed it. And now she's a chameleon, question mark?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe she actually is his sister still. Or maybe she's just an orphan. I don't know.
Maybe at this point just kill the character up and who cares?
I want to like Teresa. I want to like her.
I do too, but I knew when I started reading this issue that they were going to be like,
yep.
Oh, the point of this is she's just going to accept who she believes she is, and that's all that matters. And I don't know, that felt very thin as an answer to this whole arc for me. But anyway, that's that. And we're done with that. We're going to move on with Amazing Spider-Man to Sinister War, right?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So excited.
So I guess we'll quickly do the chopping block because you just had the one and you kind of already talked about it. So
just Captain America. Yeah, we were disgusted. I got it on whim because I had a small pull list.
Yeah. And I guess that brings us to most anticipated, which
We should mention, since this is a very short episode, leave us questions in the comments because, Q&A.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit after this. So let's see. Immortal Hulk number 48, right? 3 more issues to go. Yeah,
issue 50. So this is the Betty and Bruce issue. I'm very excited for it. I really liked the last issue a lot. Probably one of my favorites in a while with She-Hulk.
Cool. All right, Chris didn't mark any, so I don't know what you want to talk about, but I will talk about
everything. It's the only book that might not have been marked by anyone would have been Batman Fortnite, unless you marked it, Brent.
I took it off because I was the only one that marked it.
Okay, so Batman Fortnite number 6. I might have accidentally read that tonight. Looking forward to reading it.
Yeah, it is Tuesday.
Looking forward to the ending.
Okay, yeah, I am too. Don't spoil it for me.
No, absolutely not. It was good. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm looking forward to reading it again.
Cool. I am. I'm curious about WWE: The New Day, Power of Positivity. We haven't.
Nope. No, we're not doing this again.
I love the WWE books from Boom, and it's been a long time since we've gotten one, so I'm looking forward to it. So
is it going to be ongoing, or it's like literally a one shot?
No, I think it might be a mini, or it might be a one shot. I don't remember. So they kind of shifted to doing one shot, so it's probably just a one shot. But I'm not sure. All right, so a book that Kat and I have been looking forward to for a while, Fight Girls, is finally here.
I'm so excited. I hope it's good.
Yeah, I know, right? After all this hype and build up, it's like, this better be a good book. Don't let us down.
I'd be so disappointed. Yeah, I'd be so disappointed if I don't like it.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. Another new number 1, Ordinary Gods. This sounded interesting when I read the premise. I don't remember what the premise was now. It's Kyle Higgins.
I don't remember either. That's all I remember is Kyle Higgins. I'm like, I really like Radiant Black. I'm gonna pick those up.
Yeah. So that's interesting, and I'm by the name alone, it seems like something that I would be into, just because that's kind of what Ember is, right? It's modern day world with godlike characters. So we'll see. Another book that I'm looking forward to, Masters of the Universe Revelation number 1. This is kind of like a prequel to the Netflix series, kind of bridging the gap, I guess, between the old cartoon and the new one. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'll read that for sure.
Yeah. I'll save that one and that one. Firepower number 13, which Chris really desperately needs to catch up on.
He really does.
I will.
Yeah.
But now more issues collect, it's going to be harder to catch up.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Issue 13. It's a lot of issues.
The first one.
It's such a quick read, though, man. You
can probably just jump on now. It's a new arc.
It's a new arc.
I'll probably try this issue and see what happens.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see where the book goes after all that, stuff with the last arc.
I hope it picks up a bit because they promised us so much. So I hope this is the issue where things start to happen again. Yeah,
it's starting to get into that Kirkman decompression stuff we're so used to. So hopefully, this picks up and gives us a much needed punch. Let's see, Wonder Girl number 2. I absolutely love the first issue. I cannot wait for this. The art is so gorgeous. I love the art in this book. And I love Yara.
The cliffhanger was so good too.
Yeah. She's like in the sea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's gonna happen to Wonder Girl?
I don't think she knows about her past either. So it's her kind of learning about that.
She'll become the new Aqualad if she's still in the sea.
Spoiler.
Maybe. He definitely lives.
No.
We talked about Amazing Spider-Man kind of a little bit already, so we can kind of glaze over that. Yeah,
I'm good.
All right. Let's see. Crush and Lobo number 2. The first issue was really good.
Loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too. I can't wait. I want to see how many more travel cups she purchases on the way in this too. She had 36, right? 30 something.
She did. I think she's at least going to get up to 40 by the end of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
was a
joked,
cool
but it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool book because it's kind of a romance book, but it's also like a family book, and you really get into Crush's psyche. It's what Mariko does best. So if you like her writing, then you'll probably enjoy this.
Yeah, and I joke, but it's those little details that I absolutely love about her writing. So, all right, we got we're getting into the bigger books here. Runaways, number 37.
Yes, I'm okay. One thing we didn't get to talk about, this list just came out. Runaways is not on it. I'm very scared. This book is kind of canceled.
Guy's gonna flip out. Runaways is canceled.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be so sad.
I'm gonna have another book where I'm like, because that's like, again, I don't have many books where I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait for that next issue. And Runaways is one of those books, so it's kind of sucks that another one of those books are disappearing. But I love this book, and I'm so excited to see how they're leading up to issue 100.
Yeah, and especially with what's been going on recently with last issue was the Gert meets Gert, right? So that's how we left off. So how's that going to blow up in Chase's face? I can't wait to see.
It's going to blow up a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, Nice House on the Lake, number 2. That first issue was phenomenal. Highly recommend that. Go read it.
So many good books coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so good. We got the
last week or this, last week.
Exactly. I wish they spread it out a little bit so we had more to talk about this week. But yeah, that was such a good first issue. Yeah,
we got Skybound X, which we learned last time was not being collected. So if you don't get this issue, you're missing it. That's estimated.
Scalpers are gonna be all over that one.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I think the last book we had to talk about is X-Men number 1, which the new team.
Yeah, we had a question about X-Men in the comments, but like the question of like, oh, why are they pushing Jonathan Hickman away? I think he's just wrapping up his story in a different place. So, you have the Inferno stuff. He's told a big story, and hopefully Inferno does wrap it up, or maybe he has another series. Who knows?
No more drafts, please. Thank you. Okay, have a nice night.
I've gotten so used to them that I just flip past them now. It doesn't even bother me. But I'm curious to see where they take it and if it feels like old X-Men. That's kind of what I want from this book. So we'll see.
I just want to see Laura. About it.
That too. Yeah. All right. So that's it for most anticipated. So let's get to those questions if we have any.
Yes, we do. Definitely continue to ask questions. We probably have a good, 20 minutes or so if we get enough questions. So keep them coming. New Type JB Lee says, this is about Runaways. Do you think Rainbow should bring back Zavin and Clara? It felt weird that they are absent. Clara, no, because I don't think a lot of people liked her. But Clara is the little girl who was homophobic. And she was like, in the past, it was part of the Whedon run, and she was like from the 1920s, was like married to this old man, and when she was 12, it was a really weird arc.
I don't remember that at all. It's so weird.
Yeah, it was part of the Whedon stuff. Zabin, on the other hand, yes, we'd love to see Zabin. We all love Zabin, so yes. And also, wait, Clara has been in this book. Clara actually was in like the beginning issues of Rainbow's run. We found out that she was adopted by two married men.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, I remember that now. That's funny.
So we have seen Clara. I would like to see that version of Clara.
Yeah. And Zavin would be interesting to bring back, especially now with Nico and Carolina.
100%. I still thought like the Future Foundation should have done an arc where Julie finds a different version of Carolina in space and realizes it's just Zavin.
Yeah, that would be it. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I think that would have been good. Chevia asks, do you believe they should bring back Young Avengers? Always.
Yeah, I don't know what they would do with it though. It's like, what characters would they put in it? Like the last version of Young Avengers we got wasn't great, so I
would say just follow that first volume. Just use that team, and I would say America as well. Like I think they should use America Chavez because she's been a big part of the book.
If they could somehow get Teddy in it, Teddy and Billy, that would, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. What Shazam book should I read? I actually don't have a lot of suggestions for Shazam. Does anybody have some Shazam suggestions? I've read a handful, but I don't remember any of them.
There was one volume that I think it was like 12 issues. It might have been during the New 52. No, it was pre-New 52. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while. It was a really good run. I just don't remember exactly what the title was. So I'm not much help. The New 52 was about the 5 people that were Shazam, right? So it wasn't that. It must have been pre-New 52.
No. Yeah, that was a New 52.
Yeah, there was one run that I really liked. It was a very short run. I just don't remember which one it was. I apologize for that.
The other question is from Tevi. I'm not going to highlight it because it's a little negative, but are you guys excited for Tom Taylor's John Kent Superboy? I think you know my opinions on Superboy. Not really excited, but I'm going to pick it up because it's Tom Taylor.
As a Superman fan, I'm reading it.
I'm reading it as a Tom Taylor fan. Yeah,
I like
exactly.
Tom Taylor.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not excited about John Kent taking over as Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially knowing,
I don't really care about that.
Especially knowing where it's going and that he's going to be evil or whatever because of Future State. I'm not particularly excited for that.
Absolutely not. No.
The other question, again, not going to highlight, but Tevia asks, do you think DC has a clear direction of where they're going? Yeah, I think I was going to say recently, I think they have a bit more of a direction than they've had because they're mapped out future states. That's positive, I guess.
That's kind of what I mean. I mean, they know where they're going, and that's future state. After that, I don't think they have a dang clue. Same thing with New 52. They didn't have a dang clue at first, and then they're like, okay, reboot.
I have not actually read this yet, so I don't know what this has to do with anything.
It's good.
So.
It's good.
Okay,
it's
it is good.
Issue. I really liked it.
Yeah, I still got to read most of last week's books. They didn't get here until Saturday, so it really sucks. Man, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to rant about that, but yeah. So I agree. I think with Future State, they definitely have a plan for the short term. Whether we agree with it or like it or not is a different story. But I don't know beyond that because I haven't read that, so I don't know.
Kit Kat asks, can you give a refresher on the stance of John? I don't know it. Yeah, of course. So the reason I haven't loved John there's a lot, but I don't know. They don't really know what to do with the character. Obviously, they had him as a little boy, and then he ends up being an old teenager. I think he's still a teenager, right?
Yeah,
or is he a young adult?
Yeah, he's like
15, 16, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I feel like they don't really know what direction to take the character, and I feel like they relied on cutesiness and just a generic little boy. I don't think they really gave him a personality other than he's Superman's son, and that's been the big disappointment of John. But what I'm excited about Tom Taylor is that he's such a good character writer. I'm hoping John feels like his own character. He just feels very bland to me in every book he's in. And I think it's just because they don't know what direction to take him. He's just Superman's son.
So in Lois and Clark, I thought he was good, right? When he was first introduced, but he was just kind of, there wasn't much personality to him until, Manchester Black and took him over and all that stuff. So after that, they did the whole buddy kid thing with Damian and John, which Kat definitely did not love. But he was basically just I don't know. He was this somebody for Damian to play off of. And that was his whole role in their stories. And even as much as I loved those stories, it was very much it's cool seeing Damian just get upset and, him being happy-go-lucky, whatever. But I agree that they really haven't done much with them, and they tossed them around here and there. Let's try this, let's try that, and now they're doing something else. And it's much like we talked about with Miles. It doesn't seem like they really know what's going to resonate and what to do with them. So,
but Miles had a foundation. That's why I still like Miles. Is that he had so many issues to be something that wasn't Peter Parker, that wasn't any of the other Spider-Mans we have ever seen. And John never had that opportunity. He's never had a run where it's just like John is like, kind of like Connor. I don't feel like Connor is Lex Luthor or
I feel like they screwed Connor in a way. It's like, oh, it's John. Let's Bendis aged him up. Now let's just make him Superman too, and Connor's still Superboy.
Yeah.
What the hell, man? From the 90s, that man is Superman already, for God's sake.
I completely agree that John's existence did a disservice to Connor. I will completely 100% agree with that.
Who's a more interesting character, in my opinion?
Of course.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, he is a more interesting character, Like, he has layers.
If this was the voting again, like, you have to kill one of the Superboys, I'm sorry, John, you're gone, boy. Connor's my man. All the way. I'm sorry. I love Connor.
Even if Connor didn't have all that history, I think just the idea of his origins is more interesting.
Absolutely.
Being the son of Lex Luthor and Superman, pretty much, and then having to still be a good person and like find your own way that's not Superman or Lex Luthor is just there. It's already built in to be interesting. John,
I loved it. The two most hated enemies, son. The two men you never think would be able to have a child together, and it's like it's right there, and it's Connor. It's like, you gotta love Connor.
It writes itself. It really does. Yeah.
And John being happy all the time, there's no conflict. There's nothing written there. Like every story has to have a conflict. Every story needs to have a want. What does John want?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And now he's just gonna be angry all the time, right? Because now he's gonna be bad.
Which is Supergirl's problem. They don't know what to do with her either. Now she's just drunk and angry.
It's like, come on. I mean, you watch Supergirl. I mean, love it or hate it, but you watch that show and you see the personality on that character, and then you read the comics. Like, these are two completely different people. This is not the same person at all.
I 100% agree. This is a piggyback question. If John Kent won't work, why not bring back Chris Kent? He's not as popular of a character.
Yeah.
I think only it's just,
Of course he's not. Yeah. That's okay. Chris Kent's got love from me at least.
He has love from Chris.
Yes, the other Chris.
Does. But
he was thinking of me when he made that person up. I'm going to stand by that.
But most people don't know who he is, so that's the reason why you probably shouldn't bring him back, unless you have some wild story to tell with him.
What aggravates me with John, real quick, what really aggravates me with the aging is they were like, okay, it doesn't make sense for Superman to be running around having to, deal with a kid, so we're just going to make him grow up real fast. It's like, then why did you even create him in the first place,
That's how I feel. It's like, okay, you made a family. And now, I don't know, it makes me feel like they made Superman feel a little older than he really is. But, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is a good question. Why not bring back Power Girl? I think there's a lot of reasons not to bring her back. There's two reasons. No, and nothing against Power Girl.
There's two reasons.
There's two reasons. One reason is because of the boob window. I don't think DC has, ever lived that down. And number two is that Amanda Connor had such a good run. They can't do better than that.
Okay. Those are two good reasons. I'll give you that. I don't know. Aside from that run, I never loved Power Girl beyond that. So
she was just a parody. That's all she was.
Yeah, exactly.
Before Amanda Connor's run.
Right.
And she was just a boob window.
Yeah. She'll show up eventually. That no character's ever gone forever.
We also had some other questions I need to scroll up for. Kit Kat asks, if the traditional Justice League members disappeared, who would pick your Justice League lineup? No Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Hal, Barry, Wally, Martian Manhunter.
Let's not have a Justice League.
Right? I would still go with like second generation people like Donna.
Bring the Teen Titans up.
Exactly.
The Teen Titans up. The Teen Titans become the Justice League.
Yeah, so are you saying no characters like in that, like no new Batman, no new Wonder Woman, that kind of thing?
I think they just meant no Bruce Wayne and no Diana.
Okay. Yeah, then I would agree. Either Donna or Cassie. Bring that. Yeah, Jeff Johns Titans. Make those the Justice League. That would be my pick. I love that team. But
Yeah, Teen
I don't
Titans
know.
definitely.
Yeah, beyond that, I don't know. That would be weird to have like not those characters at all.
It wouldn't sell the book, that's for sure.
That's true.
Next question is, what's your favorite? What Scott Snyder book would you like to see in a film? I always say American Vampire. I love that book.
I don't know. I mean, Noctera.
Noctera would be good. It's so early to tell, but it seems
is.
like it would be a good movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Court of Owls. I mean, there's so many things you could say with that. Yeah. All right. We have a question from Fast FX. Just got here. Where's Mike? So Mike will be back in the next couple of weeks. He is on hiatus because he is doing tennis camp, but he will be back, and we are holding the fort until he comes back. So the next question is from the name changes. Has anyone on the panel read any literature about how to write comic books or taking courses on writing? Well, I have a master's in TV writing, so I got that. So I definitely have done courses in writing. How to write comic books, of course. Like the McCloud stuff, I think is important. Is like definitely the big one. I've even read the Bendis one.
Yeah, I read. It's not about comics specifically, but it is about writing. I read J. Michael Straczynski's screenwriting book. I forget the exact title, but that was really good too. And it had a lot of, even though it was about screenwriting, there was a lot of similarities with comic scripting, and he's done both. So
I'm in college for psychology and teaching. That's all I got for you.
Okay, the McCloud stuff I agree with. I'm trying to think of any other like major books that I read.
But wait, you did get me a book, Brant. What was the book you got me? You and Lisa got me a book on comic book writing.
Yeah, I don't remember which one that was.
I started reading it. I know I want to finish it.
I also read by Scott Kurtz, Brad Geiger, Dave Kellett, and Chris Straub, how to make webcomics. So if that's kind of your thing, it's not just about writing, but it does cover that aspect too.
That's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of great books out there, but I would say after you read a good amount, they all kind of bleed together a bit.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
But yeah, I do recommend, at least digging into a few or, just reading a lot of comics.
There's another one that, it's a recent one that Lisa got. It's by Greg Pak and, I can't remember the other person, but it's a good one too.
There's a couple of Kickstarters that like I would say quarter, you'll get like an editor or a writer. They'll do, how-tos or guides like that. I know live right now is one from an editor's point of view about like how to be a good editor. So definitely go check that out. It's like Good Grammar, I think it's called, or Filthy Grammar, something like that.
Yeah, it's I'm sorry, I found this one. Make Comics Like the Pros, The Inside Scoop by Fred Van Linte and Greg Pak.
Was that a Kickstarter book or was it just a regular direct to market?
I don't know if they Kickstarted that or not. I know it is available on Amazon.
Cool. Let's see. We got another question I know is about Miss Marvel. So let me scroll up. Where is it? You guys can find it. Let me know.
It's about Miss Marvel?
Yeah, there it is. I see it. Okay, so question about Kamala. Did you just like the memory erasure of her parents' knowledge of their daughter's secret identity in Ahmed's run? I did not like it. I really disliked it.
Yeah,
I do not like that run, honestly. Yeah. Do you guys consider manga to be a form of comics? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I read mangas.
Yeah, it's just from a different country. That's it.
Mm-hmm. You
Japanese
just
comics.
read it differently, and because it comes out as a big book. I mean, if you think about it, mangas are basically web comics that become books, because you can read most manga stories on websites first for free, and then they become books.
If you guys have any other more questions, I think I don't really see any new ones that we haven't answered in the past, so I think we'll start wrapping up actually. All right. Here's one question. If you guys have last minute questions, let us know. Tevia says, do you believe manga is better than Western comics? This has actually been a really big conversation on social media.
I like both. I'm not comparing.
I don't think one or the other is better either. I think it's just different styles of storytelling and different. I mean,
mediums.
Yeah, different mediums and different subject matter. A lot of times, I think you see a lot more
different culture too.
Yeah, different culture, obviously.
Altogether.
Yeah, but neither one's better than the other. There was a question about. Oh, go ahead.
With manga, no, I was just gonna say with manga, it focuses a lot more on the target genre. So like comics, you could have a mystery that's also a horror book. Mm-hmm. Like with the manga style, it's like you have an action book, you have a romance book, and it just kind of stays there. You know, it's like it's pretty much that one genre that they're trying to target.
Yeah. There was a question about Loki somewhere.
Yeah, are you guys enjoying Loki? I think it was.
Yeah. Are you guys enjoying Loki? Yeah, we talked briefly about it. Kat's only seen an episode. I'm caught up. I think it's really good so far. And I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously, but the cliffhanger we were left with the last episode was really interesting.
What's the next one? Is it Hawkeye? Or What If?
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, I was not sure either. I'm stoked for Miss Marvel. I'm so excited for Miss Marvel. And She-Hulk.
Looks like What If is next, and then Hawkeye. Okay.
I'm curious about that one.
Yeah.
Still on new. I read the Green Arrow anniversary issue, but we already talked about it a little earlier, so I don't want to repeat which one I like, but definitely skim back to where we first originally talked about our comics, and you'll find that.
Yeah, it was right. It was like in our pseudo under the radar section.
Exactly. Let me see if there's anything else. Here's another one. Teen Hero team question. That is a mouthful right there. Should there be a Runaways Champions crossover with Victor Viv confrontation and Molly joining the champions? I just want a Runaways book, so if they need to cross over with somebody like they have in the past, go for it.
Yeah, I do. I would like to see Victor and Viv. That would be a very interesting conversation after what happened in the Vision miniseries. And I don't know they've really addressed that with Viv. They have with Victor a little bit,
A little bit, yeah, but not the idea of like how it affected Viv, just the idea of how it affected him, pretty much.
Right, exactly. So I think that would be very interesting. I don't want to see Molly join the champions, though.
No, I don't even want her to join Krakoa.
No, I just want Gabby to come back to life if she's not alive, and I want Gabby and Molly to cross over.
Do you think they're building the champions for the MCU with Miss Marvel, Ironheart, and they're building Young Avengers for sure? I don't think they're building the champions.
Yeah, it'll be Young Avengers for sure.
Yeah, that's a name that will sell.
Fast FXX, are you guys excited for the new Venom movie?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
First one was surprisingly good. We talked about it in detail a few episodes ago.
Yep.
We did. I think that's wrapping us up. I don't really see any questions are popping up. Let's see. No, I didn't see the Zack Snyder picture about Batman.
No, I didn't either.
Oh, that one. I'm sorry. Which one are you talking about? Oh, they're just making a joke. We did talk about that though. We have talked about Batman and Catwoman. There's a Facebook user who says "Runaways for life." Thank you.
I think I know who that user is. I'm gonna check.
Is it just me?
Is it you? You post? I don't think
you did. It's not me, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was me. But it's not.
No, it's who I thought it was. It's Amber because she loves Runaways.
Yeah, well, Runaways is amazing.
Amber had like all the books pre-Runaways, so it's like the whole series up until this current run. She loved Runaways. Yeah, there it is. I freaking love them. Now just take off Facebook user and put Amber there, and that's fine. I would
love a Gabby and Molly miniseries or one shot.
I agree. That'd be really cool. Kit Kat asks, "Are you ever going to try Superman and Lois?" Probably not.
Are they talking the TV series?
Yeah, they're talking about the TV show.
I pre-ordered the Blu-ray set, so I'll let y'all know after I watch the full series.
I heard it's good. Don't get me wrong. I just seen enough Superman.
I was gonna watch it at one point, and there was like 5 episodes on whatever app it's on.
CW app.
Yeah, well, no, it was on oh
Hulu.
no,
Netflix?
no,
No, it's
I
not
don't
on Netflix.
remember
That's right. It's not until the series is over.
whichever one it was on, and I went on there, and it was HBO Max, I guess.
Oh,
They had
sure.
5 episodes on there, and then they took them down. They were only up there for a limited time, so I was like, okay, guess I'm not watching this. I don't like watching stuff on the CW app because there's so many dang commercials.
So many commercials. I honestly buy it on iTunes. I'll give you $2 if I need it. I only watch Legends of Tomorrow, but
they confirmed 2 more seasons for Lois and Superman.
oh yeah, no, it's doing really well. People like the show. The ratings are doing well. Yeah,
Good.
they'll be fine. And it's the CW, so even
Yeah,
the ratings aren't doing well. I still don't. I love Legends to death. I still don't know how we have so many seasons of Legends on another network. That would have been canceled.
I think Supernatural would have kept going if people didn't want to back off the show.
They're already doing a prequel show.
Yeah, they're doing a prequel that Jensen Ackles is behind. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are upset because they had this other show that was based on the ladies, and they didn't pick it up.
Yeah, I'm upset about that too. That would have been good. I like
people were
the
excited
actresses
for that.
Yeah, I was
were
too.
getting Sam and Dean before they're Sam and Dean.
Or maybe it's still with the dad. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's about.
I don't
the
know
parents,
anything
probably.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about Supernatural besides that there are parents involved.
I still have not brought myself to watch the last episode. It makes me sad every time I think about it. It's like, oh, I love that show. Man. I know. I did the same thing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I waited like months before I watched the last episode.
If I ever get good money, I might buy the full series on Blu-ray and watch it from very beginning again because it's been a while. I think I stopped watching it season 3. Just watch the whole series from beginning to end.
Lisa had never watched it, so we actually last year I think we started watching it and got through like half the first season. We haven't gone back to it yet, but I watched it a couple of times myself. So
I have not watched. I think I watched one episode.
It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I love it.
You gotta watch that prequel.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna start wrapping up. So what is coming up for everybody?
For me, I'm not doing much right now, but I am doing a lot of planning. So I'm just going to leave it out there for now until further notice. But the good news is the busy stuff that's keeping me away from putting anything out there is slowly disappearing. So look forward to stuff coming back from me soon. Also, I had to get a new computer due to reasons. I could actually say that now. So I'm actually now installing, updating, and everything a new computer. So this way I can start doing my work again. So yeah, please be patient, everybody. I'm doing my best when it comes to YouTube. I have to deal with the wonderful technologies that I got an upgraded computer. That's what I'm looking at it as. I've got to update everything. So new stuff once all the hurdles are jumped. Promise.
For me, we just fulfilled Celestial Falcon issue 2 digital campaign, which we're very excited. Everybody gets to read that now, and we snuck in a little announcement in the back of that we are doing a physical edition campaign very soon. Keep an eye out on social media for that when that comes up. And beyond that, I'm just kind of trying to get to fulfillment on Ember and finish up pneumatic cases. And that's what's going on for me right now, just kind of in all of that.
Yeah, for once. Oh, no, I do have stuff going on. Next Monday, or this coming Monday. Yeah, I was like, wait, this week I don't have stuff, but next week, next Monday, we're releasing the first official chapter of our webtoon, Slice of Life. Yeah. It's about, I'll read the actual description from Webtoon. When a gritty anime protagonist, Lady Vengeance, is brought to the real world, she learns there's more to life than darkness and revenge and finds love with a kind-hearted high school cheerleader. So we are releasing the first chapter, and actually we'll be releasing 3 chapters that week. So we're going to be releasing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then we'll go into a weekly release schedule after that. We want to make the first week special, so we're going to be doing that. And yeah, we're super excited to release that, and that's free. You can read that comic for free. So go subscribe, read it for free. That's all we ask. All we ask is for the subscription and the view. But other than that, I have my best comics of the week again. So last week I didn't do an episode, but I am back with books tomorrow. And that is it for me.
So that is all for this show. We had a really interesting week this week, didn't we? It was fun times. So as always, guys, we didn't bring up the thingy, so let's.
Brant looks very confused.
Yeah, I'll
always,
talk about it after.
No, what?
Nothing. No,
we'll talk about it later.
I forgot something, didn't I?
No,
don't worry. Well, subscribe, like the bell,
hit the bell to be notified. All the links next to Brant on whatever side he is. That side, thumbs up. What, Brant's just throwing me off like crazy. Just stop. Just stop it.
Guys, thank you for watching Comic Book Weekly. We had a great time, and we will have more books next week. So we're looking forward to a normal show, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.